welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that catapults a British family right across to the other side of the world to help them make the biggest decision of their life, whether to stay in the UK or to move to Australia. David and Margaret Campbell are desperate for a better life for their children down under.
I want to spend time with my kids. I think that they've got a better chance of a better lifestyle over there.
But daughter Kirsty doesn't share their dream.
Even thinking about it makes me want to cry.
Despite the beautiful weather and outdoors lifestyle, Australia's a long way from home.
You don't realise just how much we've relied on them.
This move may be a lot harder than they thought.
Can't see us leaving her behind because I think that would be too hard.
The Campbells have a week of highs and lows ahead of them, but what will they decide? Around 150 people a day migrate to Australia in search of a better life. The country tops the list of destinations for migrating Brits, ahead of the United States, New Zealand and Canada. But does the reality of life down under always live up to the dream? 20 British families have been pushed to breaking point as they find out about real life down under. And after just 1 week, they'll have to vote one way or the other, whether to stay in the UK or to move to Australia. David Campbell, a 42-year-old catering manager, and his wife Margaret, a medical staff nurse, live with their 3 daughters, Kirsty, aged 15, and 5-year-old twins, Summer and Sky, in the village of Slamannan near Falkirk. They've lived here all their lives, but dream of a better life down under.
I want to spend time with my kids outside, and I think that they've got a better chance of a better lifestyle over there.
No, I would agree. I think at the end of the day, that's the biggest thing, is the fact that summers here now are so poor. And you've got 2 wee girls who are full of energy and they're stuck in the house 9 months of the year.
They want more outside space for the twins to have the freedom to play.
They are lively 5-year-olds, zooming about the place. They're into everything and they just want to learn constantly.
The phrase I use for them is little pocket rockets. They're very, very lively. You turn your back and they're very good at one of them distracting you while the other one is up to no good.
You can't just say, go out the front and play. It's too wet. It's constantly raining.
Margaret works in the palliative care unit at Falkirk Hospital.
This ward within itself can be quite hectic when you're dropping 4 and 5 patients on you. So, I want to have that stability where I'm not going home from work fried. I don't want to go home from work stressed out my head and be worrying what I'm going into the next day. And that in itself is a big challenge.
She's got good friends here, but would like to try something new. Australia needs good nurses, so she could easily get a visa on the skilled migration programme. David is a catering manager in town, when he's not cooking at home, that is. He hopes to find similar work down under.
Both myself and Margaret both love home and away neighbours, I'm sorry to say. So I think you can envisage in your mind that we'll go somewhere like Summer Bay, and live happily ever after, which would be very nice, but I think it's probably a little naive of us to think that. But I think that's the sort of image that we've got in our mind, and it would be nice if we go there and that's exactly what we find.
But the Campbells have lived in this village their whole lives and have a large group of close friends and relatives on their doorstep. David's daughter Kirsty doesn't feel the same way as her parents about a potential move. The hardest thing would be leaving behind her best friend Laura.
Me and Laura are never apart. Anything we do together. She is like a sister to me. If she was my sister, I would do the exact same as what I'm doing now with her. I don't think I would change one thing. I wouldn't. I love her to bits.
But can she make that all-important life-changing decision and leave Laura behind?
Even thinking about it makes me want to cry. I don't think I'd be able to let her go.
Both Mum and Dad are convinced she'll like Australia and just hope she'll choose to make the move.
If she settles, fantastic. If she doesn't, then I think it could uproot everything.
But it's not only Kirsty who David's worried about. Margaret's whole family live in the same village.
Hopefully we'll manage to come to a unanimous decision. But I think the biggest thing would be Margaret missing her family. She's going to go over there thinking that she's not going to miss them, and when we get there, she's going to miss them.
So what do they expect to find on the other side of the world?
My ideal lifestyle would be to be able to get up in the morning, be healthy, have my kids round me and just have a comfortable life. And I don't think that's a task, but I think, you know...
A nice house with 4 or 5 bedrooms, a swimming pool, and that'd be good.
No.
But has husband David set his expectations too high?
Why should we lower our standards than what we've got here?
No, I don't think we should lower our standards. But I think it need to be realistic.
Well, we'll wait and see.
David and Margaret may be way off the mark with the kind of lifestyle they can afford down under, but they're desperate to follow their dreams. To help the Campbells make their decision, we're sending them to the Queensland city of Cairns. It will give them a new start in a country where average temperatures top 30 degrees in summer. Cairns is famous as the gateway to the Great Barrier Reef. And with beaches and rainforests just minutes from this small friendly city, it has plenty to offer the Campbells. We've got 3 possible lifestyles for the family, each one offering a brand new way of life for them to try on their budget. But which one will be most suitable? Cairns is a small city which has been highly developed in recent years. There are lots of new apartments, but family-sized units with sea views will set you back millions of dollars. A little further out of the city centre, things become more affordable, and the Campbells could find a 4-bedroom home within their £200,000 budget. The main hospital would be easily accessible for Margaret, and David could look for catering managerial positions in the many restaurants and hotels, but work might not be available immediately. Both should be able to match their £25,000 salaries if they can find good jobs. So, very different from their life in the UK. But what about the second option? Life on the coast is more expensive, with average 4-bedroom houses costing £250,000. And if you really want that dream home, you'll have to pay in excess of £300,000. Margaret would have to work in the city centre, and unless David found work in a local restaurant, he would too. But Cairns is only 20 minutes down the road. The clean sandy beaches make the coast a popular place to live, but in the summer it's also a hangout for jellyfish. However, there are plenty of safe netted swimming areas. That all looks very inviting. But what about the third option? There are many places to live within easy reach of the city which offer a bit more space, but they can be expensive. This large 4-bedroom house has acreage but costs £475,000. The Campbells could find a 4-bedroom house within their budget of £200,000 if they got a smaller garden. However, Margaret and David would both have to make the half-hour daily commute into the city to work. 3 very different possibilities for our families to try, but which one did we decide would suit them best? We decided the city option would suit the Campbells best for its close proximity to jobs for David and Margaret and great facilities for the girls. We've lined up Margaret and David with jobs.
Don't brown it. I know it's fish.
Found a selection of housing options.
Oh, it's not an awful lot of space.
And set up a taste of Australian life. So will a week down under unite the family or tear them apart? It's time for the Campbells to take the plunge. 3 flights and 30 hours after leaving the UK, the Campbells finally reach Cairns at midday local time.
Hope Australia's ready for the Campbells.
You said it, David, but Margaret's already spotted a problem.
Where's the sun?
And it's a long flight with small children.
I don't think you really appreciate, you think 24-hour flight, OK, that's great, but when you see what you've got to come through to get here, you think, oh, you know, it's not easy. It's not an easy flight.
David's dying to get a taste of Australia, but Kirsty could take some persuasion.
I guess it's okay to look, but we don't know for certain if I want to come over or not yet.
We're looking forward to actually having a look at the lifestyle and see if it's as good as we've been led to believe, you know, and I suppose we want to look at the pitfalls as well as the advantages and just have a right good look at everything we can and sort of weigh things up.
The good points, the bad points, all of it. To see if it's really for us.
So, just as the sun decides to make an appearance, the Campbell clan head off to their rented accommodation. They'll be staying in a house that boasts 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2 outdoor decking areas, a large garden and a swimming pool. It's even got the all-important barbecue area that is high up on David's shopping list. It's situated in Edge Hill, a popular northern suburb that's just 5 minutes' drive from the centre of Cairns.
Have you ever seen anything like that? Look at that, wow.
Nice, isn't it?
It looks spectacular.
Well, that's a very promising start. Let's see what they make of the rest of the property.
Close your eyes. Are your eyes closed?
Are they closed?
Are your eyes closed?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, it's beautiful.
Lovely.
These open-plan living areas aren't to everyone's taste, but this well-designed modern style is common in this type of property, and David could see himself cooking in here.
Kitchen to die for. Beautiful, isn't it?
Gorgeous.
So far, so good. But what about the sleeping arrangements?
Oh, girls, that's lovely, isn't it?
Look at the floors as well, the real floorboards.
Well, that's the twins sorted. But what about the elder daughter, Kirsty?
Oh, nice double room.
I like this. This is nice, isn't it?
Swish, isn't it?
But what about Mum and Dad?
Wow. This one's nice too.
Oh, this could be, girls, I think this could be Mum and Dad's room.
It's en suite as well.
As if it couldn't get any better, Margaret spots every girl's dream.
Beautiful. It's a walk-in wardrobe.
They don't seem to dislike anything here. Perhaps we found David and Margaret their ideal property already, even though it's way out of their budget.
Go outside and have a look and see what's happening out here. Girls.
What do you think?
Fantastic.
That really puts your Barbie to shame.
Oh, it doesn't have to. That's what you call a Barbie. That's a real Barbie.
So while the girls have a quick dip in their new private pool, what do Mum and Dad make of their first glimpse of Australian living?
Absolutely beautiful.
Very relaxed. That's, I think, the first impression you get as soon as you come off the plane. It's there's a relaxed atmosphere about it.
My expectations is what we've got here is 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a pool and a barbecue. And that's what I would like to see us having.
So it looks like David and Margaret have made their minds up already. But what about Kirsty?
What I've seen so far I like, but I think it's a really big step. It's not as simple as just because I like it over here, I can just move over here. I need to think about the consequences back home as well. So, I don't know.
But they may have been spoilt by their rented accommodation. Could they afford this kind of luxury? Back in Scotland, the Campbells live in a 5-bedroom house in the village of Slamanan. They want to swap it for a 4-bedroom house in Australia with more usable outside space. But they have a maximum budget of around £200,000, depending on what they could earn in Australia and how much their home is worth. Property 1 is in the family-friendly suburb of Bentley Park and offers 4 bedrooms. At around £180,000, it's well within budget.
Wow. I like this idea.
It's really open plan, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. Tiled floors.
What do you think, girls?
Oh, it's nice, isn't it?
It's nice.
Do you like
It's
the
quite
sweet
dark,
sweetness?
though. It's really quite dark.
Not a perfect start, but what else does this property have to offer?
Oh, wow, look at
I
this.
like this, girls.
Nice open area.
This is nice, isn't
Nice
it?
and clean and tidy. And the hob's over this side.
Dishwasher.
Dishwasher.
A lot of space.
A lot of work surface.
Space.
A lot of work surface.
Things are looking up and David's impressed with the size of the kitchen.
This is open, isn't it? This is really, really nice. Now, I would think I would possibly have those 2 rooms swapped round.
Switch them.
I would use that area as a dining area maybe, and bring the TV and stuff in here. It's a bigger area, isn't it?
Okay.
Oh wow, this is a wee single room. This could be Kirsty's room, this one, couldn't it? A bedroom? Oh, it's a double bedroom, isn't it? It's nice. It's quite small though, it's fairly small.
It's quite small.
Oh, it's en suite.
Wow.
Oh, I like this. This is nice.
It's double shower.
Compared to ours, it's quite small.
It's nice.
And what will they find outside?
This is a Barbie area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at the fishes. They are, aren't they? Almost as
It's
somebody
really
does.
quite private as well.
It's very private. It's kind of a grassy, I'm not quite sure what
I
it
think
is.
it'd be quite small for your petrol lawnmower right enough.
No, it would be, I think so.
Never mind.
It's got that all-important outdoor space, but it has its drawbacks.
The areas of the house are quite... There's a couple of areas that it's quite light, like the wee girl's bedroom is quite light, but you come in through the door and automatically it's really, really dull.
Dull,
think,
like
no.
sort of green.
And maybe it doesn't have the character they'd really love.
It's nice, but I think you quite like the sort of traditional idea of the wooden house, the traditional Queensland house.
This isn't the dream home the Campbells were after, but maybe Property 2 will give them that little extra. It's a traditionally renovated Queenslander-style property set on stilts to help the house stay cool. It has 4 bedrooms, a large garden and swimming pool, and is on the market for about £195,000 and just within budget.
This is nice, isn't it? Much more traditional.
I like this.
Look at the cheese.
The outside of the property is scoring points on looks alone, but what about the inside?
Wow, girls. Isn't this gorgeous?
It's lovely.
Just so airy, isn't it? So bright and bubbly.
I love this, being able to sit here and look across.
And just have a doors open, maybe so airy.
Well, they seem happy so far. And what about the all-important kitchen for David?
Oh, wow. Dad could be busy here, couldn't he?
Very different.
This is what we imagined, didn't it? This is the style.
Yeah.
What do you think, Kirsten?
Love it.
Beautiful, isn't it? Right, go on in. Oh, wow, look at that, girls. It's very nice as well, isn't it? And it's very, very airy, isn't it? It's a princess's room, is it? A fan as well, and doors are good because it's a sliding door, so that makes good use of space, doesn't it?
This property seems to be getting them all very excited.
Got character.
It's very spacious.
I think it's got a really homely feeling about it.
It's lovely. But that would be ideal for you too,
It would be
wouldn't
ideal for you
It'd
too.
be beautiful.
It's got a lot of character in it.
It's got lots of character.
It's all going so well. Could anything be wrong with this house?
It's not an awful lot of space. There's no storage space.
No, I think you would be really cramped, even though this isn't probably the smallest room.
But the negativity doesn't last long.
A different colour in each
I
room.
like the shape of it.
I like the shape of it as well, because even though it's very square, it's got a nice feeling about it.
It seems to be ticking all their boxes. There's even a surprise downstairs.
What have we got in here? Oh, this is another area, girls. Toilet. And a little shower area, I think. We'll get in that wee look.
Wow.
This could be ideal either for Kirsty to have her own private space or as somewhere to let out to make some extra cash.
A contained flat area, isn't it? Because you've got the bathroom, the shower room, and a sitting room and a bedroom.
That's what it is. It's just a wee contained flat, isn't it?
And what's outside?
Nice pool, isn't it? Look at that. It's got steps down into it, though.
steps into
you
it,
get back
though.
there, you can play and learn to swim. Much more the style that we were thinking about and wanting to have a look at.
Yeah.
It's very unique. Although it's very square, it still has lots of character, doesn't it?
Oh, it's got
Loads of character.
It's got everything, really.
It's got everything.
It kind of ticks all the boxes, doesn't it?
We can see ourselves here. We can see ourselves here.
This property seems to have it all, and even Kirsty's impressed.
This house that we've just seen has just amazed me. If I had the chance, I would move over here in a minute. And my mum and dad seem to like it as well. So far so good.
With all its character and the chance of some privacy, this house could be the key to persuading Kirsty of the Australian dream. But what does Property 3 have to offer? Located down the road in the suburb of Mount Sheridan, this house also has 4 bedrooms and is immaculately presented. It has an asking price in excess of £205,000 and is slightly over their budget. But will it offer anything more than the last house?
Oh, wow, look at the floors. It's very open plan, isn't it? Look at that, there's a kind of partition between the kitchen and the...
It's not that open. I don't think it's that open plan, is it? You've got the dining area's open plan.
It looks gorgeous, but how long would it last with 2 pocket rockets running around?
Quite a lot of workspace again.
There's a lot of workspace.
That's really nice. Oh, girls, come and see this. Wow, this is lovely.
And this master bedroom comes with an ensuite wet room.
Oh, this is a small room. This would be Kirsty's room, wouldn't it? A box room for Kirsty.
There's it's deceiving. There's loads of rooms.
It's like burrows, isn't it? It's like
going off each other, and you can't really. Your first impression coming through the door isn't
it's
that.
small.
It looks.
Very
You think,
deceiving.
oh, it's going to be quite small, and it's not.
Oh, wow, this is another. Well, this is a single also. It's nice too, isn't it?
She's made herself at home.
Will the all-important garden impress them more than the house?
Right, there you go. Watch your fingers.
Oh,
That's a hot
a
tub,
hot
darling.
tub.
You could jump in that from the big bubble bath, innit? The gazebo. You sit out here at night time and have a wee drink and relax, eh? And play.
But that's all you could really do.
No, there's not an awful lot of space for you.
Well, I suppose if you utilise that area.
No, there's not much of a garden space at all for the girls to run about. I think for money and money-wise, you get a far better value elsewhere.
We've shown David and Margaret 3 properties in Cairns. The first house in Edge Hill was too dark for Margaret,
It's nice.
Do you like
It's
the
quite
sweet
dark,
sweetness?
though. It's really quite dark.
and David wanted something a little more traditional.
Quite like this, the traditional idea of the wooden house, the traditional Queensland house.
The second property seemed perfect.
Isn't this
Oh,
gorgeous?
it's lovely.
It even had space to rent out, should Margaret and David need to earn extra money to pay the mortgage.
Because you've got the bathroom, shower room, and a sitting room and a bedroom.
It's just how you contain flat, isn't it?
The third property was deceptively big,
Your first impression coming through the door is you think, oh, it's going to be quite small, and it's not.
but it wasn't right for them. It lacked the outdoor space that David and Margaret would desire.
No, there's not much of a garden space at all for the girls to run about.
So, have the properties they visited whet their appetite for life down under, or have they dampened their spirits? The twins know which is their favourite property,
Blue one, blue one, blue one, blue one.
and even Kirsty's mind may be changing.
The pool was gorgeous. The rooms upstairs were absolutely gorgeous. I loved the room, and the kitchen was just right for my dad.
So, how will they vote?
We've seen 3 great properties today and we're going to vote. Australia!
That beautiful Queenslander is an absolute steal, but the Campbells have to be able to afford their mortgage, which means both David and Margaret finding good jobs. Back in Scotland, Margaret earns £25,000 a year as a nurse, but she's ready for a new challenge.
I've done a lot of courses. I've done nurse prescriber. That in itself is something really quite outstanding to have. My wish list for Australia would be to go back and to work medical, to work with a variation of patients, people that are all ages, not just to specialise in one area, and to go back and use the skills that I've trained really hard to get.
Margaret's come to Cairns Base Hospital to look for a job. The Director of Nursing is Glinda Summers.
We have about 1,100 nurses working here at Cairns Base and about 1,800 in the district. So we're constantly looking for nurses, and especially from the UK.
With over 150 British nurses already here, Margaret should fit right in. Margaret's on her way to meet Glinda, but she's anxious about the day ahead.
My major concern is basically not fitting in and it being too different from the UK.
She wants to know if the workload might be a bit easier than back in Scotland.
I'm just really interested, obviously, in the comparisons of job likeness from UK to Australia.
We're very proud of the UK nurses that have come out here because they have fantastic skills and they have complemented our workforce enormously.
I'd be really interested to find out what hours I would be working and obviously the salary at the end of that.
Okay, basically in the wards, the shifts usually, the morning shifts start at 7, the afternoon shifts about 2:45 in the afternoon, and the evening shifts start at about 11:15. And in relation to the salary, a new nurse earns as a base salary about $50,000, and a nurse who's had about 7 years' experience, which I would assume you would fit into, would, as a base salary, get about $64,500.
That's about £5,000 more than she earns in the UK. But there's one small problem which needs sorting out immediately.
I see you've got your NHS uniform on, but I think you'd better put our uniform on. And for today, because it's Tropical Friday, a lot of the nurses wear tropical shirts on Fridays because the patients love it, because it's gives them a very tropical and lively feel. So if you put this on, we'll take you up and show you around one of the wards.
Certainly, excellent. That's a brilliant idea.
As Margaret relaxes into the tropical vibe, David's about to be put through his paces.
How long for table 30?
Back in the UK, he earns £25,000 a year as a catering manager, but he may not find that kind of work in Cairns immediately. So what does he expect from the Aussie catering industry?
I would like possibly to go back into the education cycle in Australia, where I possibly would go into the kitchens and work in the kitchens there as a catering manager or a senior manager. So it would be good to be able to do that. But I'm quite happy to put the whites back on and cook if need be.
Well, that's a good job, because it looks like that's where David's going to have to start in Australia. He's meeting Alistair McFarlane to see if he can hack the pace in an Aussie kitchen.
David.
Hi there, nice to meet you.
Lovely to see you. Welcome to Cairns and welcome to the
Cell House.
We're exceptionally busy in there. I need you in the kitchen. I need you in the kitchen right now.
It's been some years since David's worked in the kitchen, but if he thinks he's in for an easy ride, he's got another thing coming. After a quick introduction to Australia's favourite fish, the barramundi, it's straight in at the deep end.
Right. I'm going to get you to prepare it, and then when it comes in order, you're the main man to cook it.
Okay, fantastic. It's been a couple of years, but you never really lose it. Once you get the basics stay with you for life. So I love cooking and I've always cooked, so it's fairly natural for me to go back to it again.
As the kids take it easy with a drink, the pressure's on David as lunchtime service starts hotting up.
How long for the barramundi, David? We've got a table waiting. Come on, mate. That's it. Get those fins off. Quickly.
And it shows no signs of easing up.
David, got 5 barramundi in order. Can you hurry up, please? I'm not here all day. You're not here for a holiday, you need to work. David? David, hello? I'm going to need you on the sauce in a minute. I'll give you 2 minutes.
But back on the ward, Margaret's having a much calmer experience. She's meeting with nurse Georgina Bailey, who emigrated from the UK 2 years ago.
How have you found it, moving from the UK to Australia?
It was very traumatic. I found it very hard. I miss my family deeply, missing so much of my friends. But I actually settled within probably about 3 weeks of working. I was really comfortable. Because I've done renal for so many years, it's actually the same layout, the same sort of way it's run here is exactly the same way it's run in the UK.
So that's more good news for Margaret. And if Georgina wasn't convincing enough, the patients even have a go.
We've got beautiful weather, not so cold as in England, like winters and things like that. So it would be an ideal place to live, I'd say, yeah.
And with views like this from the ward window, which job would you choose?
It's been really quite good. It's quite interesting to see that the whole time that we've been actually in the ward, there's not been one buzzer went off, and it's been really quite calm throughout.
I think that's because the patients are attended to on such a regular basis. Because it's got a higher patient-staff ratio, the patients don't need and want for so much.
Certainly not like the UK, where every 2 minutes there's a buzzer going and you just jump from.
It is a very calm environment.
This could be exactly what Margaret's looking for, and the better salary would improve the family's chances of affording the move. So, what did she think?
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Staff were great. Relaxed environment. I don't think I've ever been on a ward that's been that quiet. All through my training and my nursing career, I think you work in the biz, and that was really calm, relaxed and quiet.
If David's looking for calm and quiet, he's in the wrong place.
You can't stand the heat, go to the kitchen.
Look at that, absolutely beautiful. Now, you've only got another 120 to do in about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. You're under no illusions, you've got to work hard and you've got to work quick. It's about getting that, it's about finding your feet and then being able to pick up the pace and go with it. Well, it's very important that both myself and Margaret work over here because we want to maintain the lifestyle we have in Scotland. So in order to do that, then we both would need to work.
Don't brown it! I know it's fish, it's not taking it back to the ocean.
Oh, Anthony's he's a hard taskmaster. I think if I didn't come up to grade, he'd fire me in a minute.
You never know, we might make a shift out of you here.
So, at the end of his shift, David joins the girls and waits for Margaret to return from the hospital.
Hello.
Hiya, how you doing?
Oh, fine.
You have a nice day?
Hi, yep, I had a good
Did you
day.
get a snazzy shirt from?
Part of the team.
Could you see yourself working in it then?
I could actually, yeah. I think it's much more relaxed than what home is. Not a buzzer, and the numbers of staff to patients, the ratios were absolutely fabulous.
And pay, the big one?
Much the same as what I'm in the NHS in Scotland. There's probably slightly better, I would say, here.
Is that right? The only difference being is you would be working in the sun.
Nice sun.
Margaret's obviously very positive about the move and the job that will come with it, but for David, it would be a step down from his current managerial position. Will he be willing to make the sacrifice for the move to Oz?
We've experienced working in Australia, so we're going to vote. Australia.
UK.
Why UK?
Because I haven't quite found what I've got at home yet.
Tough. Too bad.
Oh dear, after such a positive start, could David be changing his mind? Looks like David bit off more than he could chew. Life in a busy Aussie kitchen wasn't for David, but Australian cuisine is a major part of the Australian lifestyle and has a flavour all of its own. Due to its tropical location, Cairns has an abundance of exotic fruit and vegetables, and its close proximity to the Barrier Reef means there's a wide choice of fish and seafood. With all this access to good quality produce, it's no wonder food is an important part of Australian culture.
Food and wine's incredibly important to Australian families and the people that live here. I mean, it's the only country in the world that eats its coat of arms. You know, we eat emu and we eat kangaroo.
With its history of immigration from all over the world, Aussie chefs have been able to draw on all the best bits of international cuisine and create their own fusion of cooking styles.
Australian cuisine overall is extremely diverse because of the different cultures we got. Melbourne's heavily influenced with Italians and Greeks, so the actual flavours of the food there are fabulous Greek restaurants, fabulous Italian restaurants.
People ultimately, regardless of what country you come from, want food to taste good. And I think if you draw upon all the good things that come from the cuisines of the world, which we're lucky enough to have exposure to here, that you get that.
Australian cuisine has developed a confidence all of its own with a no-fear attitude.
You won't be disappointed with the quality of the produce you get on your plate.
David and Margaret Campbell want a better life down under.
I want to spend time with my kids, and I think that they've got a better chance of a better lifestyle over there.
But daughter Kirsty is reluctant to make the move.
Even thinking about it makes me want to cry.
They liked the properties.
Isn't this gorgeous?
Oh, it's lovely.
Margaret loved working in the local hospital.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Staff were great.
But David found working in the kitchen of a busy Aussie restaurant a bit daunting.
I know it's fish. I'm not taking it back to the ocean.
Will seeing their friends and family make the decision to move even harder?
You don't realise just how much we've relied on them.
A major part of this move is all about the family's finances. If the Campbells are going to afford their dream home, they have to get a good price for their house back in Scotland.
Their home is a 5-bedroom property which David bought in 2003 for £59,000. They've since added the loft conversion themselves and believe it to be worth around £125,000 today. We've sent 2 estate agents round to give them a more recent valuation.
Oh, wow.
Entrance into the lounge. Nice and spacious. Plenty of natural light coming in. Okay, we'll move through to glazed door into the kitchen. Great sized room. And easily big enough for a natural 3-piece suite. Nice modern kitchen. Definitely plenty of work surface area. A fine sized garden out there, fully enclosed. Certainly enough space for improvement.
Oh, here we go. What's this room? That's the cleanest your room's ever been.
He seems to like the downstairs, but what about the loft?
Fantastic built-in wardrobe space there. Never get enough storage. Perfect loft conversion. Really maximise the space within this room. Velux window. Just going to give lots of natural light in. Altogether a very, very good bedroom. Excellent.
He seems impressed, but what about the price?
In the current climate, I would like to believe this property would achieve in the region of £115,000.
That's a lot less than they'd hoped, but could a second opinion be any better?
I would expect to achieve in the region of 110 to 115,000 for this property in this area.
The valuation proves that our property is now sitting in what they would call negative equity. We were probably about 10,000 a hoon on what we were valued last time.
I think with the prices, 115,000, yeah, it's probably right, but I don't think I would sell for that, actually.
That was a bit of a shock to the system and could affect the Campbells' decision. If they really want to move to Australia, they're going to have to take a long, hard look at whether they can afford it.
The decreased value of their house will affect the kind of home they can buy in Australia. The Campbells are on a very tight budget and may need to take a closer look at their entire finances. We've prepared a comparison of their UK and Australian expenses to see if they can afford the dream life down under.
Your wage is approximately 50,000 buying a home. So this is with no percent deposit. So the blue house that we liked was approximately 375,000 for a mortgage.
But that's slightly up.
Yeah.
There's about £300 of difference there.
Maybe a pool pump, a small pool pump and a large pool pump. So you would be probably aiming for middle of the road there as well, aren't you? So it's now £23 a month.
You've got your chemicals as well. Right, so you've got your pump, your chemicals. But then if you've got a pool, you're going to have to maintain it.
Well, this is the thing you've got to think about,
And
isn't
the
it?
house
It's all
that
very
we're
well
looking at has a pool.
The pool is one thing, and without family round the corner, childcare would become an added expense.
But we still haven't added the childcare thing in.
It could be slightly up just in the fact that we don't pay anything.
I think you could say, if you could put a couple £100 in a month, I think that's a fair amount.
They realise they'll have to cut back on their luxuries.
We'll not be looking to run 2 cars.
Well, there is a good transport system in Cairns, and it's a possibility we wouldn't use 2 cars.
No, exactly.
They're willing to make sacrifices for the sake of the sunshine.
You've got to take into the fact that it's a lifestyle that's going to make it the better move, isn't it? If you're going to spend that kind of money in either country, you might as well be here in the sun.
No, exactly.
And being at home in the rain. The final cost of living for the UK was about 2,612, and the final cost for Australia was 2,605. So there was only £7 of difference. So we kind of suspected it was pound for pound fairly similar. I think it's fair to say that that would be taken into account, that we both were able to get jobs similar to what we have in the UK. We would be looking to cut the cars down from 2 cars to 1 car, and also we would possibly look at not having a pool with whatever house we decide to go to, because that seems to be a fairly expensive luxury.
David and Margaret's dream has been diminished by the reality of their finances. They realise they'd have to make sacrifices if they're going to make ends meet. But has it dampened their enthusiasm to make the move?
For the cost of living, we are going to vote.
Australia.
Back home in the UK, none of the two of us are frightened to work, and we'll both go out and we'll work really hard to get what we want.
The cost of living could set them back a bit, but there's always a way to make things work. Shopping at a market is very much part of the Australian lifestyle and could save the Campbells some money into the bargain.
Will we get some sweet corn for the Barbie?
Yay!
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Look at this one, girls. I've never seen this before. It's called a dragon fruit.
$6.04 each tin.
Thank you.
Very much.
Look at the cherries as well. Beautiful.
They're very sweet.
Have a wee taste. It's not tastes like.
It's like a tree with bubbles in it. Like you can...
All right, we'll move on to see what else we can find.
On then.
Does it taste like apple?
No, it's almost, it's a very creamy textured fruit.
Thank you very much, sir.
Amongst all the hustle and bustle of the market, Kirsty manages to get 5 minutes to herself to buy a present for her best friend Laura, who's back in Scotland, who's always on her mind.
She's into jewellery, so I thought I would get her something that she would like. So I might just get her this. Thank you.
Thanks, Princess.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it so far. I've been thinking about Laura a lot, and my other family a lot. It's a lot different over here when you've not got them around, so you do think about them a lot.
After a bit more retail therapy, Kirsty heads to meet her parents at a cafe where they discuss the lifestyle in Australia, and the twins get to burn off some of that excess energy.
The lifestyle's fantastic. It's a completely different pace. Everything's very relaxed and slow paced. Completely different from what we're used to at home.
It's what we're looking for.
It's just fantastic.
So, how will they vote?
We spent a full day today checking out the lifestyle, and we're going to vote. Australia!
The Campbells certainly won't miss the damp Scottish weather, but they'll also be leaving behind close family. If they make the move, they'll need to establish a new circle of friends.
We've arranged for them to meet a young family in Cairns so they can find out if they'd fit in there. They arrive at the lagoon in Cairns town centre to meet with Scott and Kylie Dunbar-Reid and their children Cody, Kiara and Chloe. And they'll feel right at home because they're having a barbecue in the rain.
Hi there, Kylie. Pleased to meet you. I'm David. Thank you.
Scott.
Hi, Scott. Pleased to meet you. I seriously think that we've brought the rain with us.
And David has another chance to improve his Aussie cuisine with a lesson on the barbie.
Brilliant.
Hopefully it was. We'll keep the salad up and going, get the salad up and going, ready?
Yeah.
Margaret's keen to find out whether they'll meet new friends in Cairns.
We've got a really close family, which is going to be quite a upheaval to leave them. I think that's a big concern, that leaving our family behind, that we're going to be so isolated.
Okay, and then see that first shell there?
Yeah.
Just hang on to that. From there forward, we're just going to peel all the shell off, get the legs off.
Nice and clean.
That's him. And we're just going to throw it right away.
While Mum, Dad and the twins settle into lunch, Kirsty has a chance to explore Cairns on her own.
I'm really quite nervous about meeting these girls today, and I think it's because the only other time I meet new friends would be on holiday. I'm not the one that makes the moves because I'm too nervous to make the moves. It's always them that makes the moves to me. So I'm really quite nervous about it.
She's always been worried about leaving her best friend behind back home, so we've arranged a meeting with some girls her own age. Sophie and Leith are going to show Kirsty around.
Hello. Kirsty.
I'm Leith. How's it all going in Australia for you at the moment?
Really, really nice actually. It's been really good so far.
The girls decide to treat Kirsty to some traditional Aussie shopping.
What have I done here? My mum's got that. Oh, really?
They all seem to be getting along really well, but for Kirsty, her friends at home are still on her mind.
I've got a best friend that's a girl and I love her to bits, honestly, seriously, and I think that's going to be really hard to leave her as well to come over here.
Perhaps she needs to get properly immersed in the Aussie culture. It's not long before Kirsty's fitting right in.
Good work.
Thank you.
What about you keep this one?
Oh.
For good luck.
Thank you.
Welcome to my country.
Thank you.
Back at the lagoon, Davey's got another shrimp on the barbie and Margaret's also making friends.
What we've seen so far is everybody's been so friendly.
Yeah.
They have, and people are quite willing to give you their numbers and say, email me. Oh, food up.
Oh, very well.
Excellent. Right, girls, go and watch your sleep.
Even when it's raining, it's still warm enough to enjoy being outside.
So far, so good. Do you want prawn?
It's even warm enough for the twins to take a quick dip in the communal outdoor pool.
We'll swim across today.
While the kids seem to be getting on swimmingly, so do the parents. And despite the Aussie rain, the afternoon flies by. Before long, it's time to go. Kirsty and her new pals have found an ice cream bar and they're discussing whether it's better to be a teenager in Scotland or Australia.
What do you do in the UK?
But walk about streets because that is all we do. That's all there is to do in Slomanum. Or there's a community centre, you can go over in the PCs for free. The boys can play football down the bottom, we can watch. There's pool and everything up the stairs, so that's okay. So what do you do over here with your friends? Do you do the same as me or?
Yeah, we do the same, except because the weather, because the weather's so good most of the time, we go to the beach or we go to the lagoon and we just go around town.
Yeah. Sounds so fun. What about...
So how do Sophie and Leith think Kirsty would get on as an Australian teenager?
Yeah, she's a really nice girl. Yeah, she was easy to get along with. We were able to make conversation very easy, so it was good.
I think she'd fit in Australia well. Yeah, it's a really good place for teenagers to grow up because people are friendly, lots to do.
And the weather's good, so we can do it most of the year round. So
yeah, it's good.
But has Kirsty's day with the girls changed her mind about moving to Australia?
I wasn't too sure what people were like over here because I've only really spoke to adults. So it was good to find out what they were really like, and they're really nice. But it still makes the vote really hard because I have friends at home that I've always been friends with, and then I've met two really nice girls who hopefully I'll stay in contact with, and it's hard to choose between the two of them. So I think it's going to be really, really hard, but we'll just need to wait and see.
Margaret and David are still apprehensive about whether Kirsty wants to come.
I think it's a very big ask for Kirsty just to, up sticks and move, because at 15, 16, they start to develop sort of longer relationships.
I'm still apprehensive to whether she wants to actually come or not. I don't know about that. And I don't think Kirsty knows herself, to be honest. I think she's just at a really awkward age. And I think our decision will be made when we're finalising things.
The Campbells seem to have enjoyed meeting new people, so when it comes to making new friends, how are they going to vote?
Okay, this is about where we want to stay at home with our friends and we want to come to Australia and make new friends. Let's vote. Australia!
Australia!
Are you Australia?
Yes.
Wow!
Yay!
The whole family have enjoyed making new friends, but nothing can replace having family just around the corner. This could be the one thing that really makes them think twice.
We've prepared some messages from back home.
Hiya!
Hi Margaret, David, girls.
David's a very fun person, an excellent older brother. He's taught me a lot of things through the years.
He's very slow to anger. He's good with the girls.
Yeah, he's a good family man.
Margaret, fiery.
Outgoing. Supportive and very protective. That's Margaret.
And very encouraging. She wants you to do everything. That's why I'm not surprised that she's going to Australia, because she wants the best for the whole family.
Kirsty is trustworthy, funny and loud.
Summer's guys. I love them a bit.
Everything has got to be exactly the same. And they just do not like it if something is different.
Since we have been friends, we're just really close, and we could just talk about absolutely anything, and I don't feel embarrassed to tell Kirsty anything, and I'm sure she's the same with me. She's like, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, she's higher up than a sister would be.
We are very close. If I'm having any problems, the first place I come to is David's house. Just sit with the family and have all the kids running around about me and screaming and shouting, and definitely miss him, definitely.
I live really close to my sister. It's only like 2 streets away, and that's how I like it.
Stop it. And I think it'd be quite hard to keep in contact as well, because it's so far away. It's not like we can just go and visit each other all the time. I wouldn't feel like I had someone that I could really trust like I could Kirsty, and it would take ages to find someone that I could trust as much as I trust Kirsty. Just let her stay here.
I miss them all.
That's true. Well, your mum can't speak. She's over the moon.
Overcome.
I hope you are having a lot of fun out there. I do really miss you, but I really hope you're having a lot of fun. So I love you loads, and bye.
I hope you are behaving, girls. Kirsty, I hope you are too. Love yous.
That was good, wasn't it? It was almost like Gran was watching you, wasn't it? She knew exactly what you were up to.
You don't realise just how much we've relied on them.
We do rely on the extended family, don't we? And they're always there.
You know, there's always somebody at the end of the telephone. If it's not a sister, then there's my mum, my dad, your mum, your dad. And I think coming out to Australia, we're not going to have that.
No, we won't have it.
I've been thinking about Laura a lot, and even when I'm not with her, she's always really in my mind. The simple wee thing just makes me think of her. Do you know what I mean? It's just, it's hard.
Oh, the Campbells have a really tight-knit group of friends and family, and seeing them, well, it may change it all. Over the last week, they've experienced everything Australia has to offer.
The Campbells have really taken to the idea of life in Australia.
Hope Australia's ready for the Campbells. Absolutely beautiful.
Very relaxed. That's, I think, the first impression you get as soon as you come off the plane.
There was one property that won their hearts.
Isn't this gorgeous?
Oh, it's lovely.
Blue one. Blue one. Blue one. Blue one.
Margaret really enjoyed the work.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Staff were great.
They thought the cost of living in Australia was similar to that in the UK.
So there was only £7 of difference. So we kind of suspected it was pound for pound, fairly similar.
However, David would have to get a good job.
Work-wise is probably my biggest concern because I have really good work colleagues and I love my job back in the UK, and I do think that it might be a struggle to find something similar here.
and Margaret's got a lot to leave behind.
I have really strong roots back in the UK, and I've got a good job, good house, you know, and you're going to start a new life basically, so it would be really difficult to leave all that behind and start afresh.
The final decision could hang in the balance with Kirsty. Her heart has always been in Scotland with her best friend Laura.
Even when I'm not with her, she's always really in my mind.
But will she make the decision that David and Margaret are hoping for?
I think this vote today is going to be one of the hardest decisions of my life. I don't know.
Could her final decision divide the family?
From a mother's point of view, if Kirsty didn't vote for Australia, I think it's going to be very, very difficult to leave her in the UK. I can't see us leaving her behind. I can't imagine that, because I think that would be too hard.
So, with all things considered, which way will the final vote go?
Australia! And I'm going to vote Australia!
Was that a half and half, Kirsty? Was that really in Australia?
No.
A real Australia?
Thanks. This week's been fabulous. And looking at everything around Australia, I think I want to stay here. It's a lot better than home. I know I'm leaving my friends, but you make more. And you'll never forget the old.
Cairns, here we come.
Yeah.
Good for them. It's always hard leaving loved ones behind, but for the Campbells, the promise of life in the sun is just too tempting. Let's hope it all works out for them.
We're returning home next on BBC One. In Sussex, a family breathe new life into Britain's empty homes and then turning something old into something new for their daughter's wedding. Cash in the Attic goes towards a dream dress at 11:30.
Hello, welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that catapults a British family right across to the other side of the world to help them make the biggest decision of their life, whether to stay in the UK or to move to Australia.
David and Margaret Campbell are desperate for a better life for their children down under.
I want to spend time with my kids. I think that they've got a better chance at a better lifestyle over there.
But daughter Kirsty doesn't share their dream.
Even thinking about it makes me want to cry.
Despite the beautiful weather and outdoors lifestyle, Australia's a long way from home.
You don't realise just how much we've relied on them.
This move may be a lot harder than they thought.
Can't see us leaving her behind, because I think that would be too hard.
The Campbells have a week of highs and lows ahead of them, but what will they decide? Around 150 people a day migrate to Australia in search of a better life. The country tops the list of destinations for migrating Brits, ahead of the United States, New Zealand and Canada. But does the reality of life down under always live up to the dream?
20 British families have been pushed to breaking point as they find out about real life down under. And after just 1 week, they'll have to vote one way or the other, whether to stay in the UK or to move to Australia.
David Campbell, a 42-year-old catering manager, and his wife Margaret, a medical staff nurse, live with their 3 daughters, Kirsty, aged 15, and 5-year-old twins, Summer and Sky, in the village of Slamannan near Falkirk. They've lived here all their lives, but dream of a better life down under.
I want to spend time with my kids outside, and I think that they've got a better chance at a better lifestyle over there.
No, I would agree. I think at the end of the day that's the biggest thing, is the fact that summers here now are so poor. And you've got two wee girls who are full of energy and they're stuck in the house 9 months of the year.
They want more outside space for the twins to have the freedom to play.
They are lively 5-year-olds, zooming about the place. They're into everything and they just want to learn constantly.
The phrase I use for them is little pocket rockets. They're very, very lively. You turn your back and they're very good at one of them distracting you while the other one is up to no good.
You can't just say, go out the front and play. It's too wet. It's constantly raining.
Margaret works in the palliative care unit at Falkirk Hospital.
This ward within itself can be quite hectic when you're dropping 4 and 5 patients on you. So, I want to have that stability where I'm not going home from work fried. I don't want to go home from work stressed out my head and be worrying what I'm going into the next day. And that in itself is a big challenge.
She's got good friends here, but would like to try something new. Australia needs good nurses, so she could easily get a visa on the skilled migration programme. David is a catering manager in town, when he's not cooking at home, that is. He hopes to find similar work down under.
Both myself and Margaret both love home and away neighbours, I'm sorry to say. So I think you can envisage in your mind that we'll go somewhere like Summer Bay, and live happily ever after, which would be very nice, but I think it's probably a little naive of us to think that. But I think that's the sort of image that we've got in our mind, and it would be nice if we go there and that's exactly what we find.
But the Campbells have lived in this village their whole lives and have a large group of close friends and relatives on their doorstep. David's daughter Kirsty doesn't feel the same way as her parents about a potential move. The hardest thing would be leaving behind her best friend Laura.
Me and Laura are never apart. Anything we do together. She is like a sister to me. If she was my sister, I would do the exact same as what I'm doing now with her. I don't think I would change one thing. I wouldn't. I love her to bits.
But can she make that all-important life-changing decision and leave Laura behind?
Even thinking about it makes me want to cry. I don't think I'd be able to let her go.
Both Mum and Dad are convinced she'll like Australia and just hope she'll choose to make the move.
If she settles, fantastic. If she doesn't, then I think it could uproot everything.
But it's not only Kirsty who David's worried about. Margaret's whole family live in the same village.
Hopefully we'll manage to come to a unanimous decision. But I think the biggest thing would be Margaret missing her family. She's going to go over there thinking that she's not going to miss them, and then when we get there, she's going to miss them.
So what do they expect to find on the other side of the world?
My ideal lifestyle would be to be able to get up in the morning, be healthy, have my kids around me and just have